In this video, we're going to take a closer look at Golang's polymorphism and interfaces, how we can combine those two together to basically solve a problem we encounter. So for the people that don't know, I'm basically making a game in Golang from scratch. Well, actually not from scratch, but it doesn't really matter. And I came across a problem where I have a couple of entities, enemies basically, and they all have some shared logic, but also not. How are we going to implement such a thing without basically copying all the critical logic over to all these different enemy types? Well, we can do that with polymorphism in combination with interfaces. Let me show you how I did this, right? So basically the problem exists like this. So we have, for example, we're going to have a type, a transform, right? Transform is going to have a structure here, and for the sake of, I'm going to make it very simple. It's going to have a position, and this position is going to be just an integer, right? Nothing too fancy. Then, wait, my desktop, I need to mute this because otherwise I'm going to get banned. Anyway, so then we're going to have an enemy, right? An enemy or a mob or whatever you want to call this thing. And this enemy has a transform embedded, right? And we are going to say here, actually, we need another interface. We're going to make an updater interface, just like that. And the only thing that's going to do is update, right? Nothing too fancy. Why do we need that? Because we're going to mimic an update function here. And this is going to take in an updater. Actually, I would call it u, right? Just u updater, just like that. And what we're going to do is we are going to just call u update, right? And then we could, yeah, that's for later on. So what do we have here? We have a transform, which basically could have the position and the scale and the rotation and all that stuff. But in this case, just the position. We have our enemy, which embeds the transform. And then we're going to implement this update function here, enemy. Let's implement update here, right? And we are going to say position plus equals 1, just for the sake of, right? That's what we're going to do. So what we could do in our main function here is say is going to be an enemy, right? And then we're going to say, let's loop a couple times here. Let's say 100 times. And we're going to say update. No, that's not true. We're going to say update, right? And then we're going to put in our enemy in here. This is basic Golang, right? So we have an update function here that has an updated interface, takes in an updated interface, and it's just going to call update on the thing you just passed, right? That's classic stuff. We can actually run this. Nothing's going to happen, but you can see no errors. All fine. So this is basically already very simple, nothing too fancy, right? So so let's say in the game that I'm implementing, it's basically about creatures walking over tiles, and based on what type of creature, what type of enemy it is, it's going to manipulate the tile, right? It could make an explosion, it could transform the tile into some sticky tile or a fire tile or an electric tile, whatever. So the thing is, of course, that getting these tiles involves some logic, right? You need to check the tile map, you need to do some collisions, some bounding checks and all that stuff. So there is a lot of logic involved in that, and we don't want to copy all that logic into our enemies types, right? If we have an ooze enemy or an electric whatever enemy or a fire enemy, we don't want to copy that. So you could say, okay, cool, we have this enemy here, which is kind of the base enemy. I don't like that word, but it is what it is, right? So we could say, for example, here, func enemy, and we're going to say walk on tile, right? Walk on tile. Or actually, to be honest, check tiles collided or something like that, right? So we're going to do some logic here. Logic here. Maybe we're going to do collision checks. Yada, yada. Right? Let's do something like enemy walking on tile. Something like that. Right? So each time we update our enemy here, we're going to say e.checkTiles collided. Let's do the position here, right? And then we're gonna do a go, a run, main.go. Like, I'm building up, guys, right? I'm building this up. It's very important. I'm building this up for you to understand, right? So, okay, cool. But what if we have a fire enemy? Enemy, right? It's gonna have a structure. It's gonna be a structure, right? And how are we going to change the behavior when that enemy is crossing a tile? Because we have this check tiles collided here, which does all this logic and probably could return here some tiles. So what we could do then is basically say, yo, okay, fine, let's do a fire enemy here, fire enemy. Let's call this an update function, right? And then we could say, yo, I'm gonna embed this enemy here, right? So now I can do check tiles collided. I could return tiles here, and then do my logic here. You could do that. It's gonna be perfectly fine. The problem is that what if all these enemies also need to follow the player? Let's say you spawn an enemy in your game. The first thing it's going to do is going to chase your player, right? That's what it's, or something else. Maybe it's going to have an animation or whatever. So you can see that each time your fire enemy needs to do something, that's actually something that every enemy needs to do. You're going to just copy and call these functions from your base, I would say base enemy structure. And that's basically, in my opinion, not scalable. How can we solve that? Well, we could do something like this, right? We could do something like, okay, cool. Let's say this update function, right? We don't need that update function or fire enemy, because we could say here, okay, cool. This is not enemy anymore. This is a fire enemy, right? And you see it's working pretty fine. We don't need to do anything. This fire enemy doesn't implement update, but because we embedded enemy, which implements the update function, fire enemy doesn't need to implement that update function. It's going to just do the same thing what's in enemy here, which could be good, which could be bad, right? Okay, but if we don't want to update our update function, if you don't want to override it, let's say, how are we going to get the tiles collided? How are we going to implement that behavior? Well, that's where we can combine the polymorphism, the embedding, composability with an interface. So how are we going to do that? It's very simple. First of all, I'm going to say here, I'm going to make an interface, a tile walker. Isn't that amazing? Interface, like that. And we're going to say walk tile. We're going to give this a tile. There is no tile. We're going to make a tile. It's going to be a structure with nothing in it. So then we're going to say here with enemy, we're going to say, okay, cool. We're going to have a tile walker, which is going to be a tile walker interface. And each time we check our tiles collided, and there are tiles collided, of course, we're not going to do this detailed implementation. We are just going to say tileWalker.walk tile, and we're going to give it the tile or multiple tiles it basically crossed. So now, the real implementation of walking on a tile is up to the tile walker itself and not the enemy or not some function you're going to override. That means that our fire enemy, the only thing that needs to do is implement the walk on tile, I think it was. Not quite sure, we will see. We're going to have a tile, and we could do something like fmt print. It's still early in my eyes. Print. Yeah. We're going to say a fire enemy is walking on tile. Boom, just like that. All right, now it's going to be a little bit tricky. You could use some constructors or some functions to make it a little bit more cleaner, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's all about solving your problem, right? So we're going to make this fire enemy here, right? We know that this, by the way, guys, this is gonna fail because this is gonna be a null pointer, right? So we need to make sure that we have something here. So we're gonna say E is a fire enemy. Then we're gonna say that the E enemy is going to be an enemy, right? And we're gonna say that the tile walker is going to be E. We have a problem. I think walk on tile is gonna be bad here. What is walk tile? That's the thing we need, right? We need to make sure we implement that interface. Boom. Right. So let's recap here. So we're gonna make a new fire enemy here, right? You could use a constructor or whatever. Then we're gonna say the enemy or embedded thing is going to be this pointer where the tile walker is going to be ourselves. And that sounds a little bit weird, but it's important because right now we need to keep embedding this enemy inside of our fire enemy so we can have access to, for example, the enemy embeds a game object, or the enemy has some other update function you need to behave the same way. So that's why we actually embed them, but also use the top level struct as the inner level struct to implement the tile walker, if that makes sense, right? That's it, right? So that's the only thing we need to do. The only thing we need to do right now is in fire enemy is just implement walk tile, which could be different for a fire enemy or a water enemy or a fucking electric enemy. I don't know, you call it. It's going to be different based on this enemy type. And all the logic we have in enemy itself is going to stay. They're going to update their position. They're going to maybe chase the player. They're going to blink or whatever. They're going to leave a trail of blood. I don't know. Right. So let's recap here. Task collided. We're going to call this tile walker here. It's pretty fine. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. So if we run this right now, let's clear the screen. Go run main.go. We can see that the fire enemy is walking on a tile. Right? And of course, it's also calling enemy walking on tile 97, which is basically this thing here. We can delete that, right? And let's run this again. Go run main.go. Now you can see that the fire enemy is walking on a tile. So basically means that you can implement some specific logic based for the fire enemy right here, right? Something like that. Very simple. What if we have a water enemy? Very simple. You could just copy these things. We could copy these things, right? In reality, it's going to be a little bit more different, right? So we're going to say water enemy. We need to change this. We're going to say water enemy and then walk tile here. And then we're going to say water enemy is walking on tile. Wet, 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 right? I could be banned for this, but we don't know. Or cancelled or demonetized these days. Yeah, then what we need to do is basically instead of a fire enemy, we're just going to instantiate a water enemy, right? And we're going to call go run main.go. And now you're going to see that the water enemy is walking on a tile, right? So if you're going to spawn game objects, this is very specific for this. Most of the time, you're not going to encounter such a construction in web development. At least I didn't, right? Maybe there are some cases you could use something similar, but most of the time that's not gonna happen. But in this case, it was the perfect, in my opinion. Maybe I could solve this even more, more better. I don't know. If you see that I made a mistake or something that's completely whack, let me know in the comments how you would solve that or what could be a potential other way to solve it, right? So you can see if you're going to spawn multiple enemies in your game engine, you can basically, the only thing you need to do is just embed the base. I don't like the base word, but embed the enemy structure, right? Where there's a lot of other fields and functions attached that you are just going to follow. You're just going to, I don't also like the word inherit, but you're going to have the same behavior, the same data behavior. The only thing you want to change is the way you're going to walk tiles, and you're just going to give yourself as a callback. It could be a function, it could be yourself, it doesn't really matter, right? So now you can spawn different enemies and they will all have a different way crossing tiles. Damn, this video is already 40 minutes. Ay. But that's good. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, leave some questions in the comment, jump into my Discord community. And I'm looking forward to see you in my next video or live stream. And we are just crossed 20K subscribers yesterday, and I want to thank everyone that subscribed to my channel to believe in me. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.